school district has to have as its purpose successful students, for all students. They have to accept the fact that all students are the responsibility of the campus. That you don't divide kids into subgroups. They're all our kids, and we want the best for them, and we want them to be as successful as possible. So the whole philosophy of the school has to be, this is what we want for kids. And when you have that, then it's much easier to say, okay, here's some kids coming into high school, and some of them are going to have some very unique needs. What can we do? What supports can be put in place? Well, guess what? That's called an ARD committee. That ARD committee is supposed to have as membership an administrator from the school district, a general ed teacher, and a special ed teacher. If vocational instruction is going to be considered, then the CTE teacher, a CTE teacher needs to be there. If there are unique people, like if you're going to be talking about special ed evaluations and where the student is, then of course you're going to have your evaluation personnel. In high school, I think it's real important that counselors be part of those ARD committees. But before that ARD committee meets, there is no reason that you can't get together and say, okay, we know that we always have some special ed kids in it. So when you have your department meetings, when you are discussing your programs and your curriculum and the standards that are set for your programs, start looking at them with an eye on, we have some special ed kids that are not going to be able to meet all the industry standards, so how are we going to deal with those? Do we want to have a meeting with the special ed people before we start having ARDs so we're all on the same page? And if we have students who want to be auto mechanics, we're talking with them about some of the standards that are going to be necessary.
So it's very, very important to have that CTE rep there who can talk about the state-of-the-art and industry standard skills that are required through the CTE program to best prepare all students. It's important for all of the members of the ARD committee to hear what the program is really about today, and that we are providing those state-of-the-art and industry standard skills. As a matter of fact, we're required by law. The new Perkins legislation, which was just reauthorized, really is asking our programs to lead to the opportunity for an industry standard certificate or a license. Well, anyone who has a license, whether it's a real estate license or a pharmacy license, to pass that licensing exam requires a very, very high level of academic competence, plus the ability to apply those concepts.
We would love to have business and industry come in. In fact, if we have students who are working out in the community, we always invite their employers to come and be part of the ARD. But of course, a lot of times that's not possible, but we do visit with them. We also have weekly check sheets that we get from them. We don't leave the students out in the business alone. They are supported. If there are problems or difficulties in anything, we're right there to help the business owner to make sure that it's a very good experience for us and for them too. We need that work spot, and we want to do everything we can do to make it a good experience for all who are involved.
As an industrial person working with the ARD committee, I would emphasize that in our trade, in our businesses and manufacturing facilities, the pace that we work at is quite brisk. The technology that we work with is higher level technology than we've ever had in the past. Each trade has competencies and standards identified by the industry experts in coordination with the people that are investigating those to determine what competency levels, what competencies, what skills, what abilities are needed in the world of work, and those are crucial. As a businessman, I cannot afford to have someone in my facility that is not up to speed as far as production, safety, ability to problem solve and the ability to manufacture things to the quality level that we require.
And so it's important for all of the members of the ARD to understand that we really need to discuss at what level of expectation we have for the student who will be placed in the program through the ARD, so that we can really talk about, is it appropriate to place the student into the program? And if so, what are we going to need to provide for the student to be successful? What accommodations, what modifications, what modified equipment? What is it we really need to do to ensure that this student, this child, is going to be successful in career and technology education?
We have to look at each student individually. There is no way that we can say that every student with a disability who goes into a K class is going to be able to meet industry standards. But many of our students will be able to, given the appropriate accommodations and the appropriate amount of time to master them. Student A is saying, I want to be an auto mechanic, and student B is saying, I want to be an auto mechanic. But when you question and get into more depth and get more information from student A, their goal is to be able to work at the quick lube changing oil in vehicles. So what we're going to propose in the way of courses for that student will be a lot different than student B, who is saying, I want to be able to get in there and work on the engine and any other part that's gone wrong. This is what I love. This is what I want to do. So student B is actually going to be working toward meeting industry standards in the CTE classes. Student A is going to learn the basics, and that may be as far as they go. And learning those basics may actually take him a little bit longer than other kids would, but it shouldn't be a problem, because on the special ed side, you have the rules that say we're going to individualize to meet their needs and help them reach their goal. But the student that wants to be a full-blown mechanic is going to have a lot more rigorous standards to meet and should be expected to meet industry standards. That shouldn't be a problem for your CTE courses, as long as the instructor is involved in the ARD process that's making the decisions on what that student should be required to do and what accommodations are going to be needed.
What I found as a career and technology director was, if you do not have a career and technology education representative in that ARD meeting, you're going to have some students placed into your classes and into your programs that maybe are not an ideal fit for that program. It's imperative that you have a career and technology education representative in all ARD meetings, because in a lot of ARD meetings, those students don't realize they're going to take a career and technology education class until about halfway through their ARD, especially at the lower grade levels like 8th grade or 9th grade. It's really imperative to have someone in there. As a career and technology education director, I attended all of the 8th grade ARD meetings. In this meeting, we discussed career and technology education. We also developed a colored program description sheet with the courses that these students could take, with a brief descriptor of each course, with a description of what you might do in that course. If you were in auto tech, you're going to get dirty, you're going to get greasy. If you're in welding, you're going to get dirty, you're going to deal with some hot material, some heavy material. If you are in family and consumer sciences, you might be doing some sewing, you might be doing cooking, you might be doing interior design. But we just let the kids know exactly what the programs were. We actually color-coded these program areas, and so when the student did make their decision, along with the ARD committee, on what they wanted to take during their high school career, we were able to put that colored sheet of paper with the classes, with the program description, into their ARD packet to prove that we had discussed career and technology education and to show that we were trying to serve the best interests of the students.
If we really want to meet the needs of this child, why in the world would we not want someone who understands the career and technology program there? It's so critical to have that CTE teacher or that CTE rep who can present information about the CTE program to the ARD committee members, so the ARD committee members can really understand what career and technology is, what the program is, what are the requirements of the program. So if we look at it from doing what's right for the child, then we're certainly going to meet the letter of the law with the commissioner's rules. But most importantly, we're going to be meeting the needs of the child, and that's really what we're trying to do.